very special edition of the Simola Hill Climb, brought to you by Mercedes-AMG and ATK Esports. I'm Ricky Bress, and we're going to be taking you on a journey from the virtual track onto the real one, where we follow Mika Salo, who's a former F1 driver, as well as our very own advanced driving legend, Clint Weston.
This is the 13th running of the Simola Hill Climb event, and this year was the first time seeing pre-COVID numbers of drivers and spectators alike. ATK and AMG were on site to make their presence known, with Mercedes-AMG fielding 2 cars with Clint Weston and Mika Salo representing AMG. The international presence in the pit lane was boosted considerably.
Mercedes-Benz participating at this year's Simola Hill Climb is an exciting period for us. We are very strong on our AMG offensive with a product line that excites the broader public and the motor enthusiasts in general. So for us it was kind of about time that we now show our might with our AMGs, and we've got 2 very strong and capable drivers who are participating. We have our resident motorsport driver through our driving academy, and that's Clint Weston, who has performed exceptionally well and consistently over the years, and a very strong ambassador for the brand. And then we've got Mika Salo, who has come through also with his family to this year's Simola to also show us his skills, and who's performing very well as well.
With pandemics affecting the hosting of in-person events, ATK stepped up to develop the Simola Hill Climb into a virtual event.
We started with the virtual in August of 2020. That was obviously in the middle of COVID. We were struggling with events in general, and I met with Ian, who's the CEO of the event, to work out how we could bring our sim racing world and our esports knowledge to a real-life event that was struggling.
It was a new thing for us, new tech, but went super well. And yeah, to see back to a full event like this and to be able to combine the two, so I wouldn't say the new and the old, but you have tech and the real thing is a great combination. I think the two work well together.
He was kind enough to take me up and down the track, and it seemed like a very simple thing for us to be able to pull off, especially given what we have done with Mercedes-Benz.
That allows people who can't come to the event to be part of the event, and it takes us to a global audience, and so it's good, and it gives us activity year round. So it's which one event a year is always quite difficult to keep the enthusiasm going, and the virtual opens up that door that we can keep it going all year round.
Hosted solely online, the virtual Simola Hill Climb saw 131 drivers from all over South Africa and the world battle it out on the ATK-built recreation of the famous Hill Climb track. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of that event.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the virtual Simola Hill Climb, where drivers from all around South Africa will be competing in the most prestigious virtual hill climb event. Things are about to heat up.
Leon Leroux will be the first guy to go up here for a timed run in the Mercedes-Benz 190 Evo 2. As we said, the start vitally important, never more so in a hill climb that's only 1.9 kilometers long.
Yeah, exactly. And let's see how that does. Wheel spin off the line for Leon Leroux. Makes his way down in the Assetto Corsa AMG Mercedes-Benz 190E towards turn 1.
It will be interesting to see how smooth the likes of Emile de Villiers and Charles Wilkin are in comparison. And we've got our first contact with the tyres.
Charles Wilkin in the 1992 title-winning DTM car, as is everybody else.
Yeah, very, very rare car as well. Only 502 of these were made. And we're going to get rarer as the afternoon goes on, as we move on to the SLS GT3 and then the C9, where only 6 were made. But thankfully, we can produce as many as we like in the virtual world, as Charles Wilkin goes top of the table
easily
with a 42.5. That is a solid time and a big benchmark set for Emile de Villiers.
Here comes the young Emile de Villiers, just a teenager still, Dan, into the final section of the circuit.
Yeah, but look how smooth he is, and look how much of the track he's using. We're not getting any of the sideways action that we saw previously, are we? We're getting very tight to the tyres. We're using all of the circuit. And most importantly, we're smooth. Is it enough? It's not enough. Second position 42.661. The first round goes to Charles Wilkin. But in the meantime, the drivers are going to get ready in their SLS for their timed runs. Already looks a lot quicker than our first 190 Mercedes-Benz. So the cars just get quicker and quicker as we go through this virtual Simola Hill Climb.
Oh, and this is where the focus comes into place, Dan. A couple of deep breaths as he goes through the right-hand.
Yeah, he would love to put a very representative time here, something that forces Emile de Villiers to really go for it and potentially might make a mistake. Oh, Charles Wilkin was so close to those tyres on the left side, wasn't he?
That was good. Oh, Charles Wilkin second. Charles Wilkin is second with a 38.5. Leon Leroux takes it.
And it's left for our leader, or he's not our leader. Second place is Emile de Villiers. If he wins this round, he will go into the lead because Charles Wilkin's going to drop points in third place. He would go down to fourth position if Emile de Villiers goes there.
Gee whiz, this would not be good. And this is what we've come to see here, ladies and gentlemen.
Look how tight he is on the right-hand side, and he turns in late past those final tyres like we spoke about. But it seems a much tighter line than everybody else. He's getting closer to the tyres. He's using more of the circuit.
It's the final right-hander. Across the line goes de Villiers. Where does he end up? In second place. Second place, and off the circuit goes Emile de Villiers. It's anybody's game at this stage, Dan. This is the Neisner Simola Virtual Hill Climb.
Just as we go into the final result, this is the order they'll be taking the mighty C9 Le Mans car up the Simola Hill Climb. Richard Clark will be leading us off.
This is a real compliment to the young man. Oh, no! Oh,
the
no!
Start, the wheel spin was so substantial that it just carried on. He didn't let off. And yeah, it sent him into the wall eventually.
This car has thrown the cat amongst the proverbial pigeons because it's so difficult to drive. And now with all the pressure mounting to the final round, these drivers are making silly mistakes and taking themselves out of this race as Leon Leroux runs very wide there late on the brakes, according to the oh no!
Oh,
Blake Kruger's out. Blake Kruger's out.
And this is the car that they were all worried about in the Discord all week. As soon as this car was announced, Galskos goes top with a 36.1. That's a great time.
Wow.
I mean, it's the first solid run we've seen up here. At the moment, it's looking like it's coming down to a straight run between Charles Wilkin and Emile de Villiers, as it has done for the last 2 years in this virtual Simola Hill Climb.
And so Charles Wilkin makes it across the line, goes into second place, and Ghost is your leader so far, Dan. Here comes de Villiers now.
Yeah, he's just got to get it to the top, and ideally he's got to get there quicker than 36.297. Can he get across the line? And he has. He's gone top. 35.7. Look at the time, the final run of the day.
How does he do it, Dan? Answer me this, people. How does the young Emile de Villiers do it over and over again?
You've got to feel sorry for Charles Wilkin. We seem to say this every year, don't we? The amount of effort he puts in and how close he becomes. I've become runner-up, I think, 3 years on the spin.
Jeez.
One day will be his day, but it's not today, unfortunately.
It's not today. And gee whiz, there is only one king, Emile de Villiers, the reigning, defending, undisputed, and current champion of the virtual Simola Hill Climb powered by Mercedes.
After the break, we'll attack the track in the virtual and in person as Clint Weston and Mika Salo team up to take on the hill in their Mercedes-Benz AMG 45s. The Simola Hill Climb is at full tilt, and the ATK Sim Racing Activation Centre is a popular stop for all motoring and gaming enthusiasts. ATK has quickly established itself as a leader in the sim space with high-end simulation equipment for in-person activation, competitions and online championships. Further cementing their place in this field was the creation of the virtual Simola Hill Climb track in Assetto Corsa. Now anybody could tackle the hill climb in the virtual world.
Here we continuously try to be the tip of the spear in the motorsports arena, and then bringing in the gaming element with our partners ATK, who has done a fabulous job in activating this beautiful space, as you can see.
But what really stood out was when we were able to now bring simulators to the event and allow the spectators to actually get a feeling for what it was like to race up the hill and what kind of a challenge it is, and then even get some of the drivers, myself included, to go up the hill and have a feeling for the track. was a real plus and a real addition to the event.
This entire place has been filled since the opening of the Simola Hill Climb. So we're very pleased with why we're here and our performance thus far.
So we bundled Clint and Mika into the sim rigs to test the virtual version of the track before the first official practice session.
I had the pleasure of helping Clint and Mika on our Fanatec rig this one before their first runs on Friday, and especially Mika was very, very eager to jump on in. I did, at least from the simulator point of view, give him a couple of pointers which I think really, really helped him.
So Clint, tell me, you had some time in the sim yesterday. What is your approach going to be for today, and how much thought goes into your approach?
Well, look, I mean, last night sleeping, it's just turning in your mind on what you're going to do and how you're going to do things. And can I rely on the simulator? And the simulator is sort of close to it, so you can rely on it to a certain extent. Until then, I went and I drove it, and I thought, I can go faster than what I did on the sim. So today is about, I think, the first round, just feeling it out. Going fast, obviously, feeling it out. Get the car nice and warm this morning. The tires are going to be cold, brakes are going to be cold. Try and get a bit of heat soak, and then go and find out first. And once I'm actually aware of what I'm doing going up Simola, because I've never done it, the second round's going to be totally different, and then we're going to nail it.
It's all new. In my time when I was racing professionally, there was no simulator, so we had to learn it very quickly, and almost every weekend is a new circuit, so you just have to really get into it. As soon as you go out, just a couple runs should be all right. So it's not easy, but yeah.
With the AMG A45s and the CLA 45s, they're very accommodating because they're all-wheel drive, very well set up and very fast. So we can do whatever we need to do through here. So it'll make us actually, those AMGs will make us look better.
Now that you have been in the simulator, but also you don't know this track, what is your approach today?
Well, I just take it easy first couple runs just to get to know where all the bumps are and when to turn in and braking points and all this, and just take it easy. So then save all the speed for later for qualifying.
So for their first taste of real tarmac, it's Clint Weston who goes first. He takes his Mercedes AMG 45 to the line to take on his first practice run of this year's Simola Hill Climb. Now, Clint is already a super experienced driver and especially familiar with this car because he is a Mercedes AMG dynamic driving instructor and has been for over 14 years, as well as a host of other motorsport experience, including this year's Kyalami 9 Hour. But we see there the bumps on this circuit through that straight. That's what this practice run is all about. He's trying to learn the circuit. He already knows the car. He now needs to find the fastest way to get this car up this very short hill. But as he comes towards the end of this first practice session, he already lays down a pretty impressive benchmark time, and he hits 47.604 seconds. That's a lofty target for Mika Salo to chase. So now it's Mika's turn to pull up to the line. He's already preempted this run by saying that he's definitely going to take it easy. This is the first time he's ever been up Simola Hill Climb in the real world, and he has to learn this track. He needs obviously no introduction, someone with 111 Formula One Grand Prix starts over his 8 years in F1, not to mention being a two-time back-to-back winner of that illustrious Le Mans 24-hour in the GT2 class. But now he has a new beast to try and master, the Simola Hill Climb. It might be short, but it's what about those bumps? There is no room for error here. If you make any mistake, you're going to be out of it. So he comes across his learning experience line, definitely giving it all, flashing of the brakes there as he finishes off this first practice run. And he crosses the line still with a pretty respectable 49.9. So he's a little bit off the mark, but he has plenty of runs ahead to try and knock that time down. This is just his first practice run.
And now, for the first time you've been up the hill climb, how was it? And tell me what your thinking was.
It seems the sim helped because we're quickest in our class, which is great.
It was very slow. just took it very carefully and not to make any mistakes. Just wanted to see where the braking points are and how much speed I can carry in a couple of the corners. So
It was quite hairy in the beginning because these tires are cold, so I had the car hanging out like that, so it was oversteering major.
it's pretty simple. There's only a couple difficult corners here. Everything else is flat, full throttle. So have to work on that. There's a couple more practice runs before qualifying.
And just like that, it's time to turn the dial all the way up to 11 and begin to work on those braking points and the nuances of being on an unprepared road surface. The drivers have 3 more practice sessions to work towards their best times before the qualifying sessions begin.
Yeah, because it's limited practice time. So if you overdo it in the first one, so you lose all the other practice because you destroyed your car.
Yes.
So it's better to take it easy first and then gradually speed up. And we've done 4 runs now, and I think I'm quite there already. So it's basically 4 laps for me.
Clint leads the way after second practice with a 46.473, and then practice 3 sees Mika pulling back some of that time with a very impressive 47.299 against Clint's dominant 46.212. Practice 4 sees no improvement actually from either driver, but Clint and Mika lead the class with an AMG 1-2.
I think when we got asked to do this and we entered these cars, having done a little bit of homework and where we could actually be most competitive in the A45 and the CLA 45 as ideal entries, and a bit of a dark horse because Mercedes-Benz never been involved in the Simola Hill Climb, and then suddenly Mika becoming involved as well. I knew that it was going to sort of pan out to be a shootout between the two of us, and you know what, naturally it's gone that way. He's already wanting to check my telemetry and everything else, so we've taken it out of his car, put it in my car so that he can see where he can chase. So it's a natural effect with us motorsport guys.
Join us after the break as Clint and Mika take on the hill in qualifying, leading up to the class finals. Welcome back to the Simola Hill Climb 2023. For anyone keeping scores, Clint Weston leads F1 star Mika Salo into qualifying, with the drivers laying down their best times in order to qualify for the class finals.
It's difficult. It's normally I get used to them very quickly. Normally I just do 3 laps. Normally I'm almost there. Then I can just fine tune it. Just finding braking points. Just finding braking points is basically the thing.
With 6 rounds of qualifying completed, Clint is leading the way with an improved 45.939 seconds, with Mika nipping at his heels with a 46.744. The Mercedes AMG drivers are leading the field as they head into class finals.
It's been going tremendously well. He's also got a lot closer to me on times, and we are both 1 and 2, which is exactly what we want for Mercedes AMG. And in fact, we're tussling it there with a McLaren and a Porsche. And this is just these are pretty much production A45 S models and 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged. I mean, amazing.
So as we enter the final runs, you can see that the weather has taken a real turn for the worse, and it's Clint that goes up first on a very wet start line. And this is totally different from their practice and qualifying runs. So they've got to lean on all of their experience and find that grip. We see the car washing out wide as Clint struggles to find the grip on a very wet track. Up the main straight, he's hugging the right-hand side, trying to avoid as many bumps as possible. And he's going to set a top speed of 173 kilometers an hour up the hill. Remember, these, as Clint says, are just regular production cars, and they look like full-on race cars as he battles this up this short hill climb of Simola. In these wet conditions, got to be as smooth as you possibly can. Steps out a little bit on the S's, but he's coming up now to try and complete this final run. This is his final run of the event, and he's going to cross the line and set a time of 49.134, an impressive benchmark set by Clint considering those wet conditions. And now it's Mika's time to line up in those similar wet conditions. He's in the CLA 45. Remember, no burnouts to warm the tyres, but look how great traction he gets off, even off a wet line. No wheel spin there whatsoever. The computer doing its job, launching that Mercedes production car up this hill. Massive standing water on the circuit. Much tighter on that first right-hander was Mika Salo compared to Clint Weston. Maybe that's a benefit for him. Also choosing to stay on the right-hand side up the hill. We'll see what time he sets. Speed, 171, so a couple of kilometers an hour slower than the A45 of Clint Weston. So perhaps he's going to be a little bit further down. Not as much experience probably driving this car in these conditions as Clint, who no doubt had a Mercedes A45 on a skid pan at some point. Flashing the ABS as he comes through the S's, and Mika Salo is going to come and complete his final lap of the Simola Hill Climb 2023, and it's going to be a 50.741 for Mika. That's enough to secure P2 in class, with Clint taking P1 as Mercedes-AMG locks out the top 2 steps of the podium.
So we're obviously very happy with the performance and winning in the category with our 45 AMGs. A big congratulations to Clint and Mika. I think the decision obviously was the right one in hindsight now, to bring our hot hatches. Again, the people and the excitement, I don't think it's too much of a surprise. I think it would have been a surprise if we didn't win those categories. So a big congratulations to the team. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it.
This weekend is testimony to really all the hard work our team put in.
Definitely come back. It's nice, but I want to have a race car. I'm so jealous for Petter now because he has this rally car with him, so nice.
It's an ideal platform and exposure for our product, and we can showcase a whole lot more. We get some new product in 2024, some exciting stuff, C63 AMG, the EQEs, most phenomenal off the line, and just done it in Portugal now with EQE 53. So that will definitely be a great showcasing as well with electric. So the other manufacturers better be aware that we're coming with our ammunition.
With the star power we've got this year with Petter Solberg, with Mika Salo, Henning Solberg involved, it really has just upped the ante. And ticket sales just started going mad a couple of weeks ago, and it's just so super to see a full contingent of media here. We've got over 160 media, and a full house of people. Hospitality sold out, grandstand sold out, and the banks are full. And this event's all about everybody having fun, and to see people sitting here enjoying it, to see the competitors enjoying it, that's really what we do it for. Everyone must have fun, and it's just great to see.
And that's a wrap for this year's Simola Hill Climb. And we look ahead to what next year has in store. No doubt bigger and better, from sponsors to manufacturers to drivers, as well as, of course, to our spectators. So from the virtual track and the real track, we can't wait to see you all next year.